shots on goal instead. We'll have to see how these teams decide to fight it out, and we are currently underway here.
Yeah, we're going to be underway. Niagara versus Quinnipiac. Both these teams are going to want to take this as far as they possibly can.
Right now, it looks like Niagara is going to have to, try to get the ball out. Quinnipiac did have a little bit of offense at the beginning, but already the ball has gone back the other way. So just a little bit back and forth so far. Niagara actually being very aggressive so far. This is not what I would expect from a team that's lower in the standings. We see that usually teams that are not doing as well over the course of the regular season play very passively, where they just kind of play on defense and hope that, they find an opening here or there. But Niagara, they're coming out with a different look, and so far they've had a good amount of possession.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen some great possession coming out from them early on. It's been a good opportunity for them to maybe not necessarily take a lead, but also prevent themselves from getting an early opposition. But Grubb, gotta be the first one to score. You know and love Grubb, a phenomenal player all the way around. Just saw them during the week, during Rocket League on Wednesday. Now it's going to be 1-0 in favor of Quinnipiac.
And I'm going to try to get confirmation about this, but I swear that Grubb also plays on the Overwatch team. I'm pretty sure he plays DPS for them as well, so I think he might be a multi-esport athlete. And, you don't usually see that in esports, but I love it. And Grubb is going to set the pace here early on, and now Quinnipiac, they can do what they want with this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I think you're correct. And don't quote us on that. We'll get some confirmation on that later on. But the name Grubb just sounds so familiar for both of us. So we think maybe it's because they are multi-esports tasking the same way we may be here. And it looks like it's going to be that 1-0, still a minute off the clock in favor of Quinnipiac, which is a lead that we expected. Maybe a little bit more aggressive with already over a minute off. But it looks like we're going to be seeing a great block coming out from Austin there, making sure that the goal is not going to be filled once again.
This is what Niagara can't do. I mean, they've had a great back and forth game. Sure, you give up the first goal, but it's not out of sight at all yet. But they're going for the same exact blocks. They're going for the same exact shots. They're running into each other, and that's a great demo. Grubb now going to get 2 in a row, 2 goals off of 3 shots.
Yeah, Grubb is 2 goals, 3 shots. That is phenomenal. I mean, this Grubb looking good in Overwatch, looking good in Rocket League. A phenomenal turnaround so far. Quinnipiac with a 2-0 lead. Just over a minute and a half off the clock.
And we have gotten confirmation. It is the same Grubb, and just wanted to make sure that we were saying the correct things about that. That's really cool. You don't see that very often, but we know that they're very good at Overwatch. And here, this is a very different kind of game. So usually you see players who do FPS games, like maybe they go from Overwatch to something like Valorant, but here, Rocket League, a completely different game. Maybe those Lucio Paul skills paid off.
maybe Lucio Ball awakened something in Grubb, or perhaps Grubb already loved the Rocket League. But yeah, it's awesome to see just a player swap from 2 things like this. And I want to just go out on a limb here and say that somebody's probably cracking a joke like, oh, his aim's better in Rocket League than it is in Overwatch, because that's a pretty easy joke, right? So I hope that somebody out there is doing that. But now Quinnipiac is still going to be up 2-0 as we approach halftime.
Yeah, and they haven't had too much of a dominating performance. Sure, they're up 2, and that is a pretty nice lead, but I feel like Niagara has been able to show some fight. They're showing some firepower here and there. They're able to clear the ball. It's just they can't really get shots on goal. That's like the biggest thing. Like, they can move the ball, they can get passes off, but the minute they actually get to the other side of the field, they're just going to get tackled away. They just get blocked out of sight. And that's going to be a demo, but I mean, 2.5 seconds, they'll be back, and already it's going to be a 3v3.
Absolutely. It's going to be that 3v3. Like, yeah, that instantaneous respawn. You have to know that a demo is coming, an opportunity to take advantage of it. Because by the time you've said the words, I demoed blank, it hardly even matters, because they've already respawned. But now Niagara is going to be able to put something on board for themselves, only down by 1 point with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left on the clock.
It's a great pass off the corner. There were 2 players there for Quinnipiac, but they were kind of both stuck looking at the ball, neither of them really able to go for it there. And I Niagara, they're playing pretty well, honestly. They might find the equalizer. They do find the equalizer. Wow. And all of a sudden, Niagara is back in this game. 2 quick goals to tie things up. The teamwork is now making the dream work. I think I made that joke already, but there it was, just a perfect pass, perfectly well timed. And Niagara's really playing much better than I think we or Quinnipiac expected them to. Kudos to them.
Yeah,
but, oh no,
absolutely.
They gotta clear this out.
Yeah, they're able to get that out of the way. Grubb gets, a shot on goal in quotes, just kind of sent it toward goal and it almost went in. But Niagara, like you said, coming out hotter than I think anybody really expected so far. They've already tied things up 2-2. A minute 50 left online here, and they want to find an opportunity to maybe even take a lead in this first game. They've been able to score twice. They want to look for a third one, and now they're trying to knock out of goal past the Schnitzel. Might find it from above. It's going to be a third goal online for Niagara right away.
And look at this aerial play. Burning just keeps it up in the air past the Schnitzel, just kind of bobbles it. That could have gone out. They didn't use too much force there. They didn't, you hit it too hard, it's just going to go straight off the crossbar. It's going to go out of play. or, you know, at least out of where they can play it, because there is no actual out of play in a game like Rocket League, but they're just
Right.
perfect timing, again, perfect tempo, and Niagara's gonna get another one!
No way!
What is going on?
Pastor Schnitzel with the hat trick right now. Are you kidding me? That is 3 in a row, coming out instantaneously. This player, I'm making all of the difference right now for Niagara.
Seedings, just throw them in the garbage. Who even cares? Every team has come here to play today. And Niagara are now going to be in a 2-goal lead with a minute 30 left. I mean, we know that Quinnipiac can come back from this, but it's just looking so good for Niagara right now.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I feel like a darn fool. Oh, you know, 2-0, pretty hard to come back from, and then Niagara scores 4 times in a row. So definitely making me eat my words here live on stream. But Grub gonna get an opener here. I believe that's a hat trick for Grub as well.
It is, yep. 3 goals on 6 shots, so shooting at 50% right now. And there was just a really unlucky clear. You see that? Oh no, they completely cleared out the net. There were 2 players for Niagara that went all the way to the right. Yeah, that is just pain. That is, you know, that's the kind of things you can't do if you're Niagara. You cannot have players, you know, you gotta be covering different zones. You want to be covering left,
Absolutely.
right, and middle at all times.
Yeah, and this is actually the highest scoring game that we've seen on stream so far, I believe.
7,
I
yeah,
think that
7
3 to
goals
4
collectively.
Yeah, 7 goals in total is going to be the highest score that we've seen. We saw a team reach 4 points, so if Niagara is able to score a 5th point, they'll give us the most from a team that we've seen so far today, but I'm not sure we're going to be seeing that quite yet. 48 seconds left online, and Niagara, again, you don't have to score. You could just get away with keeping the ball up in the air for 40 seconds, but, you know, you'd like to score. You'd like to make sure there's not a tieable opportunity for Quinnipiac, especially because Grubb is looking for one right now. Not going to be able to find it as all 3 defenders are going to be there.
Pastor has just been on fire. The hat trick, an amazing save. They're very comfortable playing up in the air. They really like playing the aerial game, which is just been working out so well for Niagara. It's really given them an advantage. It's what's given them this lead. And like you said, like, they don't need to score, but you can't just sit on your goal. You can't turtle up. You can't park the bus. You have to keep at least, you know, shooting, not necessarily scoring. You just have to keep playing a bit more on the attack.
Absolutely, and speaking of bus, I hope we see the battle bus at some point today, because I think that is fun. But anyway, 2 seconds left back on the clock, and the ball's live for just not even a full second after hitting 1, and there it's going to be taken off. Niagara with not only a first game upset, but an early lead as well.
Yeah, that's going to be 1 game on this series. They need 2 more to put it away, and I mean, Pastor Schnitzel, just look at this. 3 goals on 3 shots. They're shooting 100, and actually also going for 100, 1 for 1. So the shooting is a lot less for Niagara overall.
Right.
Which is, you know, this is counteracting what we said before about the team that shoots more usually is going to be the one that wins. But if you're converting almost every single shot, I mean, they shot 5 overall. They're connected with 4 of them. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're only shooting a few times, as long as you're actually converting every single one of those, that's just incredible.
Absolutely, and Grubb with 7 shots on goal, I think 11 in total coming out from Quinnipiac. There's, like you said, kind of swapping things up from that first game we saw, where the person that shot on goal more was usually getting more goals and winning those rounds. But there, we see Niagara, I mean, their defense seemingly making all the difference, right? They shot on goal a lot less, but they got more points for it, and just having that better accuracy, that more consistency really did make the difference for them there.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is, like, you know, more shots, you know, that can give you more opportunities, but if you're not taking the right shots, if you're shooting at the wrong time, if you're getting blocked very easily, then it doesn't matter how many times you shoot. Looks like Niagara are kind of picking the moment of when they want to go for those goal opportunities, and they are finding them. There's, you know, something called, you know, actual, like, percentage of getting those goals versus shots. You know, you can shoot, and it's got no chance of going in, versus, you know, like, this is a 99% chance, and it still somehow doesn't go in. They're going for, like, I think, what, 80%, something like that there, where they're shooting overall. So they are, you know, those shots that they're finding, they might be less overall, but they're the ones that matter the most.
Yeah, and Ost with a great block there. That ball may have gone in had they not been there, but Grubb is unfortunately going to have that interrupted. So now ball in favor of Niagara for just a moment. Grubb going to come through at the perfect time to flip things back right above goal past the Schnitzel, sending it down the main there, and Swiggy trying to get some kind of value if they can, but not going to be able to get any touch on the ball there.
And it looks like Niagara again going to be on the offense. We saw them kind of pivot more to defense after getting some good touches at the beginning of the last game, but then they again reverse course. So it seems like Niagara can kind of change up their play style on a dime, which is really important in a game that moves as quickly as Rocket League. I mean, it's situational, right? If you're up, you can play differently. If you're down, you got to play differently. If you're tied, you got to play differently. So knowing where you're at in the game and being able to address those things is super crucial.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. You know, you want to go in with a plan, but that plan is not always going to work, so you need to be changing things on a dime. And now Niagara's going to have to change things up as Grubb here puts another point on board, 4 in total for the player. Actually, all of the points from Quinnipiac have been from Grub. Some great aerial control, and Ost just could not get there in time.
Yeah, Grub has been the life force for this team. They are doing everything that they can. We need to see, I think, Guapo Chapo and Smiggy step up just a little bit here. I feel like there are some great opportunities for crosses here and there that, you know, Grub obviously is great at shooting. There's no doubt. So give Grub the ball as much as possible, but set Grub up. Don't have them running all on their lonesome. But this is an empty net.
Oh, no way. But he's a little... Okay, I thought he was going to be a little bit wide there, but Ost is able to get the value off that empty net. Going to be 1-1, tied up right away. A little over a minute left, or a little over a minute off the clock, rather, and Ost just barely able to get that in. Guapo Chapo, if they had just a little bit more boost, they would have interrupted that.
That was some of the best adjustment I've seen on the fly ever in terms of angling. Because you were right, it looked like it was going to go wide to the right. They just get kind of to the side of the ball. They try to boop it to the left, and they get it in, and all of a sudden we have a tied game once again.
That's going to be tied up all over again, and last time Niagara tied it up, they took the lead very aggressively afterwards. We're going to have to see, do they now kick it into that fifth gear? Do they get hyper-aggressive or not? And yeah, it looks like they're going to, as Ost puts another one away.
I'm kind of stunned right now, honestly. You know, I thought there might be... I noticed Niagara was playing pretty well at the beginning of that first matchup, but I did not think they'd be playing this well. They're going to have that lead once again, and once they got in that first matchup, they just ran away first. So what can you do if you're Quinnipiac? I think, again, it's what I was talking about before. You got to play more as a team instead of just feeding the ball to Grub. I think we got to see the other players get more involved on the attack instead of just kind of sitting on defense, because they're kind of getting caught out. Like, they're there in the position, that's correct, but they're not able to, you know, match the speed of the players from Niagara.
Absolutely. We're going to see them going hyper-aggressive here. Niagara looks like they may be able to find some value. And like we talked about very early on, we said, oh, you know, we expect this to be a 3-0, like it's going to be a great value there. But no, it looks like it's not going to be exactly what we thought.
And just look at this, like Guapo Chapo, like, again, perfect positioning, but just can't actually get it out because they have no speed, they have no momentum. That's why you don't want to sit in goal. You want to be a little bit outside of it. That way you can back up, you can kind of set yourself up to run out, use some of that boost to make sure it's cleared out. So even though they're there, it's not enough, and right now Niagara is just not going to relent, and oh my goodness, Niagara.
Here we go again.
This is insane. This is an amazing performance.
Yeah, Niagara gonna run it back here. Gonna be up 4-1. It's like I said, you know, they tied it up and then they ran away with it. And that's exactly what's gonna be happening here again.
The good news right now for Quinnipiac is there is still 3 minutes about left on the clock, so get one goal a minute. They're tied up and things are good.
No way. Okay.
But I mean, Niagara, now like all the momentum is in their corner. They're getting the kickoffs. They're getting great passes. They're finding great blocks. They're finding great tackles. Everything is going their way.
No
and
way.
Another goal.
Oh.
That is now 4 for Ost.
That is a haul, H-A-U-L, 4 points for one player there. Pass to Schnitzel, almost gets it, but Ost's going to be able to clean it up. And I just want to point out that I was spot on with my earlier analysis when I talked about Quinnipiac, the type of team where they need to be the aggressor, they need to be the team that's controlling the momentum, or they really do start to crumble, and I think we are seeing that here firsthand.
This is now officially the most one-sided affair we've seen today on stream for at least our stream.
Yeah.
This is just going so well for Niagara, and I think that last goal might have put the nail in the coffin for this game. I think there is still plenty of opportunity for Quinnipiac to score and, you know, make this a bit closer, but a 4-goal difference of only about 2 minutes left, that's going to be very difficult. We just get to halftime, and already there's 6 goals online.
Yeah, just getting to halftime 6 goals online is kind of insane. And speaking of one-sided, the last match from Fairfield versus Manhattan, I think Fairfield took a game 10-0.
I don't think we're going to see that here because...
I'm not sure we're going to see that here, but there have been some pretty
crazy.
One-sided affairs here so far. And on this channel, this is definitely the most aggressive that we've seen. But that, again, just goes to show how dominant Fairfield really can be.
It just shows you that, you know, these teams, again, came here to play. Like, you know, they're not going to get these opportunities. Every team from the conference got to make playoffs. And even the Niagara is 3 seeds lower. They are looking like number 2 in the conference right now. They are playing this so super well. And a minute's gone by. Quinnipiac has not really been able to get an attack going. They've not been able to really keep possession of the ball. Niagara, they're again in position to score here.
Yeah, and Quinnipiac, I think if this gets under a minute and they still have not put even a single goal online, that is unfortunately going to be kind of the nail in the coffin here. That's going to put Niagara up 2-0. Even if Quinnipiac scores one more time at this point, they're already going to be down by 3. And scoring 4 times in a minute is a very difficult thing to do.
Looks like it just might be a day of upsets, at least for us here on the main channel. We'll have to see if that continues later on, but for now, I think we can decisively say Niagara is going to take this one and go to match point. So I guess the question is for Quinnipiac, what can they do? And I know we've talked a lot about passing the ball around, but I'm wondering what else they can do. I think the biggest thing is just their formation has to be changed up a little bit. More movement, because they just kind of have people sit on the goal and then like right place, right time, but not enough speed to actually counteract, to actually get those saves. Like they'll hit the ball up, but then there's going to be someone from Niagara always there who's going to try to get the follow-up, and generally that follow-up will connect.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point earlier on. You've got to stop just hoping Grubb can do everything, right? I think we've seen that every time Quinnipiac has gotten the ball, it's passed immediately to Grubb. So I think right now we're seeing Niagara take full advantage of that opportunity. They are essentially playing 3v1 to an extent because Grubb is the only real aggressor that we've seen so far from Quinnipiac.
Yeah, we know Grubb is an amazing player in 2 different titles, but it is a 3v3 kind of game. You can enable Grubb all you want, and that is a way to play, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the rest of the team has to be there too at some point. They have to be actually involved. You know, they've got to be the ones also trying for goals at certain points. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Grubb only going to be able to get 1 here on 2 shots. The only 2 shots, actually, that this is really lopsided. We talked about Niagara being able to score on not too many shots last time, but it was all of them all the time, converting 5 out of 12. That is a very big turnaround from the last game.
Yeah, no doubt on that. That's a little less than 50% success there on goal. And Quinnipiac only made 2 shots in general, and they both came from Grubb. So we talked about that a lot, and I don't want to beat them up anymore by saying it again, but can't be relying on Grubb the way you are right now. It's definitely, I mean, it's clearly not working out, right? You're down 2-0 to a team that at least I, at the beginning of this, expected them to 3-0. So I'm very shocked to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Quinnipiac had a pretty good advantage going into this matchup, but Niagara, I don't know what they're drinking these days. I don't know if they're having some Powerade or, what's, in their system right now that's getting them all hyped up, but you can tell that they're playing at their best. This is the best I've seen them look all season. I cast them a few times during the spring split, and this is looking like a whole new team, a completely different squad, but it's the same exact people they've been running the entire season here, so it's great to see them kind of come out of their shells when it matters most.
Yeah, absolutely. Better late than never, in all honesty. So something to keep in mind, they may have not had the best season coming up to this, but coming into this, moving forward, maybe they're able to take this and run with it.
Yeah, they had 2 wins all season going into this one in the conference, so not a whole lot in the W column, but if they're able to put this away here, this would be incredible. This is match point for them. They win this right here, they run away with it. They're going to face Fairfield afterwards.
Yeah, they're going to face Fairfield, which, if Niagara can play like this, could be one incredible game, to say the very least. But they may also get Manhattaned by Fairfield, just in a little bit, that 3-0 coming through, and that's not something any team wants to be on the wrong side of. But Quinnipiac may be on the wrong side of that much sooner than I think they expected.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think you just got to play this game out. You can't worry too much about your opponent later on because it's just one game at a time. If you think too much about the future, you'll probably lose track of what's right in front of you. And what was right in front of there was almost an amazing pass, or it could have been a great goal. We score there, but just not in the right position. But Niagara still, again, on the offense. They are doing a great job of keeping this ball in.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing a phenomenal job of keeping the ball exactly where they want it. And now, Pash the Schnitzel trying to get some aggression coming out here. And Smiggy going to be able to interrupt that shot there. And Guapo Chapo, just for a moment, has an opportunity to get advantage and possession of the ball. But Ost possibly not going to be there quick enough. Quinnipiac, they're going to put a goal on board here. So I believe Smiggy's first of the game.
Yeah, it's going to be the first one that isn't Grubb's score. So there it's going to be just, look at that. Smiggy read that perfectly, just had the speed. That's the speed that we needed from Quinnipiac on their defense. They do find it on their offense, but I just got to say this. Every time Quinnipiac has scored first, they've still lost those games. So it's great to be starting things off like that, but you've got to have some more goals along the way.
Yeah, Quinnipiac vibing with a 0% win rate so far going up against Niagara, and they almost get 2 on goal super early, so that would have been great, but Ost is going to have an even better block there. Smiggy might be going for another goal, but it's going to go way high as it bounces off of Ost in the air there. Pash the Schnitzel is going to try to get things lined up moving forward, but unfortunately not able to find it. Which we're seeing a lot more contesting coming out from Quinnipiac. It's not as one-sided for Niagara so far.
Yeah, they are playing like team players. And speaking of team players, I want to thank you so much, our MAAC partners that are helping put on the MAAC championships that we have today and throughout the weekend. Hercules Tires, Tropicana, Ready Nutrition, and Gaiku. Thank you so much for being a part of this event. And I mean, this series, both series we've seen so far, they have been much closer than we'd expect, or at least, not the result that we'd expect overall.
Yeah, no, definitely not the result that we were expecting moving forward. And I honestly wonder if Aust is just short for Austin. I wonder if that's just like their name, and they're like, ah, whatever, we'll spice things up a bit. But I think that is going to be a lot of fun there as well to analyze a little bit of the player names, because some of these folks have some very creative names, and I always would love to know the backstory. But you know, we never have time to talk to all of them.
We do not, and I mean, Quinnipiac now, they've been able to hold this lead actually for a little bit. Niagara, they've just been so good on the attack all day. This is the slowest we've seen them so far. They have not been able to connect with much. But just as I say that, they might be able to turn around here. I mean, they just have to play aggressive. In the first match, they just were able to convert enough. Second one, they were able to really find their stride. Third one, it looks like they're kind of going back to their old ways where they're not shooting as much. But they haven't found anything on the shots they've tried.
Yeah, they're definitely not getting some value very aggressively, and I'm now hearing from my producer that his name is in fact Austin, so thank you everyone for letting me know. But Quinnipiac is going to be able to score that second goal, and they're doing a great job so far. This could be the beginning of a very intense reverse sweep, or maybe just a third game victory, but 2 points already, over half of the time burned off the clock, and Niagara, they are coming out from a very large deficit here. They need to make this happen if they want to take their 3-0.
Yeah, they gotta find a way, but they did before. Remember, they were down 0-2 in that first matchup, ended up winning it 4-3, I think, when all was said and done, so they've been in this situation before, but Grub is now going to be able to get 2 goals on 2 shots, and Quinnipiac, it looks like they've come back to life. I think the series is going to be extended to another game. Yeah,
I'm starting to think that as well. There's only 2 minutes left here, and I think we've seen, I'm going to guess, 4, that's going to be, I think, 7 or 8 goals coming out from Quinnipiac, and all of them except 1 have been from Grub. So if you are Niagara, you've got to think, maybe you just spend the rest of your time demoing a specific player. I'm not going to name any names, but maybe there's somebody you keep a little bit of an extra eye out for. Aust, they're going to put the first goal online for Niagara with a great assist from past the Schnitzel. 2 minutes left. You've only got to score twice. That's essentially 1 per minute. So Niagara, they could tie this up, and maybe we don't get any extra games. Only time will tell.
We'll see how this ends up going. I think Niagara, they finally found footing, and we always talk about this. It's good to get a goal in a game you're losing, but with 2 minutes left, it might be a goal that actually helps you get back in the swing of things. That would have been a great goal to get there just to bring things a bit closer, but we're finally seeing Niagara, come back to the ways that we expected from them, so we'll see if they can push it to the limit and get it a bit closer, or if Quinnipiac is able to take this one away from them.
Yeah, Quinnipiac looking to take this one away and keep themselves alive, because a reminder, folks, this is single elimination. We do not get anything of value moving forward. It is not going to be any kind of double elim. They will be taken offline. It looks like Austin almost goes for another goal, but it's not going to be working out quite yet. Guapo is going to be able to block it.
And now can Niagara keep this going? Oh no! Passage and Austin run into each other. That would have been a great shot.
That was an open goal.
That would have been a goal almost guaranteed.
Yeah, 99% chance that would have gone in, but they just bumpers, I guess. And unfortunately, it is not going to work out well for them. Pastor Schnitzel is able to interrupt 1 more goal with 60 seconds left. Niagara, they may lose their first game of the matchup.
They might indeed. It's not going to be the end of the world for them. It would be the end of the world for Quinnipiac if they lost this one, so they're going to be happy just to be able to stay alive in this. This could be the goal that they need, and it just does not go in. And it looks like Quinnipiac is going to be able to stay alive and fight another day.
Yeah, unless Niagara just absolutely kicks it into 10th gear here, I don't think we're going to be seeing any more value coming out from them in Game 3. And like you said, that's going to extend our series at least into a Game 4.
The last one went all the way to Game 5, so now it'll be on the books. Like you said, Quinnipiac, if they want to take this one, it's got to be the reverse sweep. They have not gotten anything up until now. It's still not officially on the books just yet, but they are going to be able to take this at least 3-1. Maybe they get one at the very end. It looks like they probably won't, but Grub does have 9 seconds left.
Oh, no!
Caster cursed it. That is going to be another hat trick for Grub.
Yeah, here we go. Grub coming back to life. So it's a little bit shaky there in a couple of those games, but maybe, as they always say, maybe Grub has finally turned on his monitor and he is starting to play all over again, because the hat trick coming through is going to secure the first victory here for Quinnipiac.
I would just like to say that, I feel like Quinnipiac as a team has, stepped it up. Obviously, Grub is still the leading force, but you're seeing that Guapo, Chapo, and Smiggy, they are making plays now. They're not afraid to go after balls. They're having a much better coordinated defense, and although they're, still letting Grub do his thing, they're letting Grub get in there. The team as a whole is playing much more synergized, and that's why they're going to take this one, and we got a match 4 on our hands.
We sure do. We have a match 4 and a series on our hands. Quinnipiac, the weight can come off your shoulders just a little bit. You get to live another day. You're not going to get 3-0'd, but now you have to do that all over again, not once, but twice, to beat Niagara here, who was only 1 win away from taking this set.
And this reminds me a lot of the first match in this series that Niagara won. Quinnipiac, they are not shooting nearly as much, but they are capitalizing it. They only missed 1 goal overall, and it was the 1 shot from Guapo Chapo. But everything else, again, shooting, 5 shots, 4 goals, 80%. So they're doing really well. And Niagara, I'm going to look at the numbers here really quickly, but it was almost 10. It was 7, I believe. No, 9. It was 9 overall. So they're shooting 4 more times, and they still found 3 less goals.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate, but Quinnipiac, they have a great defense, and we talked about that at the beginning of the first game as well. Like you said, kind of feeling like we're being a little bit of a throwback here to that first game when Quinnipiac started super strong in the first 2.5 minutes or so before Niagara was really able to run away with it in that second half. But their defense seems to be possibly their strong suit. Maybe they need to be playing into that a little bit more, perhaps, because I talked about this. You know, they're not great when they aren't in charge. So maybe they need to force themselves into that secondary position on purpose, going with the intention of playing not strictly defense, but mostly defense, and maybe they can turn things around.
I think the problem is that if you commit mostly to defense, then how many like chances you're gonna have in the attack? Of course, you've got someone like Grub who can just kind of, you know, run in with the ball time and time again. But other than that, like I think you need to have someone on rotation. I think you have, you know, 2 up more, and then someone who's more mid, just kind of roaming around. So that way you can have someone rotate back if need be. So that way you kind of have the defense, and then everyone else can get back in the nick of time. But I think in the nick of time, it's gonna be. Oh no! Again, they did it again, Septulence. They blocked their own shot again.
It's the second, and that might be the 3rd time they've done that. Niagara, unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time. And if you were the Pasta Schnitzel, if you were on Quinnipiac's team, what a phenomenal block, right? I mean, but considering that was your own teammate, that is a disaster. They have done that so many times. And okay, we saw it a little bit from Quinnipiac there, so that feels a little bit better. But now Ost is gonna go for a goal. They lost a free goal so early on.
Yeah, again, it's tunnel visioning. You're just not paying attention to what everyone else is doing on your team. You're trying to get your team in a good position, and unfortunately, you do more harm than help. We'll see if Oz can bring it back. Not able to just yet. And I mean, if they end up losing this series, I think the last one in the other game, the game we just saw, it wasn't as big of a deal. Because Quinnipiac just still had a pretty good lead. But this game here, if they don't get one, they do get one. But they could be up, you know, this could be a 2-0 lead right now if they got the one before.
Right, exactly. And you mentioned, you know, what if they lose this set? What if they lose this game? And imagine if it's only by a single point.
It would be
at the end of the day. It would all be because of that single minuscule bump coming out from those players. But Pasta Schnitzel is able to get the ball in goal once again. And moving forward, you know, you gotta hope Niagara doesn't make that mistake again. But considering they've done it at least 3 times, you know, you gotta hope maybe their coordination with one another is gonna come out a little bit cleaner in what they want to be the final game of the set so far.
Absolutely, and I think that was actually the first time that Niagara has scored first in these 4 games so far. I think Quinnipiac has always been the ones opening up scoring, so a little bit of a change of pace. Now lets Niagara actually set the tone. Usually they've been playing from behind. Sometimes they've quickly tied it up. Sometimes they've been, you know, lagging behind for a little bit. But now it gives them that kind of way of setting the pace of the game that they haven't had previously. And I really want to see what they do with that.
Absolutely. I want to see if they're able to keep this momentum and kind of flip it a little bit more aggressively in their favor. And I would also, completely unrelated, love to see a Rule 1 because I think they're hysterical, but I'm not sure we're going to be seeing those from players as aggressive as this.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, it might happen just incidentally, but I don't think it's going to be happening by purpose at all. Niagara
I just think they're so silly.
They are. They are indeed. But Niagara had some great chances there, and you just see there, they jump a little bit too high. We saw that earlier in our previous game with Sienna, but Sienna ended up winning that, so, you know, maybe 1 or 2 misplays isn't going to sink the ship right away, but they haven't really been able to set the pace at all. I mean, now they're playing a lot of defense. They're kind of stuck in their own part of the field, and this is the first time they've cleared it in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and speaking of sinking ships and clearing, Marist, for those curious, was able to absolutely destroy Sienna in a 3-0 victory. So, unfortunately, Sienna, that underdog, the one that I thought was going to give us that possible upset, is going to be taken offline here in this tournament, and Marist has confirmed their place in grand finals, and Niagara may be meeting them there if they can keep up the momentum that we've seen.
They may, and it's, you know, I feel like destroy is such a negative word. I'm going to say, you know, they played a really well-rounded game. We'll say that. Marist, you know, they're the top seed, so it's not surprising they did so well, but Niagara has been a complete surprise today. They've got a 2-0 lead with 2 minutes left. Quinnipiac, they are by no means out of this yet, but see the door starting to close on them bit by bit.
Yeah, like you said, the door's slowly closing, and as people always say, when one door closes, another one opens, but unfortunately, if this door closes on Quinnipiac, there will be no more doors here in this MAAC champion matchup here, and it's going to be Niagara and Quinnipiac going toe-to-toe, as always, with 2 minutes left on the clock. Niagara looking better than ever, right? Quinnipiac, you got 2 minutes, that is 1 minute per goal. fingers crossed you're able to make that happen to stay alive and force a game 5.
And you're really lucky about that entire situation there. There were 2-3 chances for Niagara to try to follow up. And what was a ball kind of just waning down the middle, but no one is able to connect on it. The Quinnipiac has a little bit of a sigh of relief. They're able to breathe just a little bit easier, but time is still ticking and you gotta get something moving. And Grub is gonna try to be the hero once again.
Yeah, Grub goes to be that hero as always, but it's not going to be working out quite yet. Guapo Chapo goes to score their first goal of the game, but Fast the Schnitzel is going to be in the way to block that up. Only looking at 80 seconds left on the clock, and Niagara, they may have done it.
They might have had the upset of the tournament thus far. Still a lot more MAAC championship action coming out with different games, but here in Rocket League, Niagara might be the story to be looking out for if they win this one. Sienna was also able to get an upset, but this one will be huge. It'll be much more decisive, one less game, much more goals overall. I want to see how this ends, and I believe it's going to be ending with Niagara moving on.
Yeah, Quinnipiac, they have to score twice in 50 seconds, which in Rocket League is possible, just very difficult, especially when you're in a situation like Quinnipiac and you have not had possession of the ball for maybe 60-70% of this current matchup. So, like you said, Niagara, they've only got 40 seconds left on the clock. This will probably turn into a very fun version of Keep Away, and Quinnipiac, unfortunately, will be sent home today.
And Niagara, they're not even trying to actually go on the offense. They just keep knocking the ball back in. They're just trying to keep the ball out of their zone, but Grub does bring one back. Niagara slips there for just a second. 25 seconds left. It's possible. It's drawable. And it could go to overtime.
It's drawable, and it could go not only to overtime, but to game 5 if they're able to score just one more time in this upcoming 25 seconds. Niagara, you've got to give us the defense of a lifetime if you want to take this victory here today.
And right now, Grub does have the ball, at least for the time being, but also a great takeaway. 20 seconds left. You just got to clear it. You just got to keep running with it. You just got to keep dribbling it. Niagara, this is your moment. Do not let it slip through your fingers.
10 seconds. You've got this one opportunity. You have to hold it for 10 more seconds. You cannot let them score. It looks like Grub is going to be able to interrupt. Goes for a little bit of ball possession in these final seconds, and the clock will not hit 0 until this ball touches the flat surface once again, and there it is. They have done it. Niagara University, the upset of a lifetime. They have knocked Quinnipiac out of today's tournament, and they will move on to go up against the behemoth that is Fairfield. They will have to play not just as well, but even better if they want to take out Fairfield.
Absolutely. Fairfield and Marist, they're on a bit of a different level than the other teams we've seen so far in the tournament, but if anyone can do it, I think it's going to be Niagara. They were very impressive. They won in a pretty decisive fashion at certain points. This one was much closer, but I'm thinking of that game too. Man, that was just them running away with it. It's going to be, regardless, even if they lose, just like Sienna did in the semifinals, it's very impressive to see two underdogs be able to rise to the occasion, and we'll see how that story continues in just a little bit, because it will be up on the broadcast immediately after our interview, but we're going to have that interview. So we're going to be taking a break before that. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody. After the upset of the century here, Niagara University does get to take down Quinnipiac, and we get to talk to no other than the man himself, Aust117. How you doing today, my friend?
Hello, hello. I'm pretty good. After that win.
I was going to say, you've got to be pretty good, right? You come up with the
Yeah.
upset of a lifetime. You do a phenomenal job. And I want to ask, in the nicest way possible, Niagara, you haven't had the cleanest season. Things have been a little bit rough for you guys. So what was different today? You guys gave us such a dominant performance. Did you prep for the match differently? Did the G Fuel kick in when it needed to? What did you do in those final moments to really take down Quinnipiac in such an aggressive matchup?